This presentation is brought to you by NotaryStars.com, OnlineNotariesPublic.com, and Unlimited Ink Notary, in collaboration with Marcy Tiberio with Notary on the Street and the New York Notary Alliance. Presentations like these are made available through our paid memberships who have access to over 150 hours of training on every loan product under the sun and the most robust notary signing agent resource library online today. If you find presentations like these useful, please consider liking this video, sharing this video, subscribing to our YouTube channel, and maybe becoming a member of NotaryStars.com or OnlineNotariesPublic.com.
All righty, guys. So welcome everybody to Notary Stars General Mentorship Session. Today is July 24th, 2023. And as you get tuned into this episode, we'd like to ask if you're watching while you're driving, either live or even the replay, please remain in listen-only mode because we sincerely care about your safety and well-being. This session is being recorded, and you can always come back to it again and again if you miss something. This particular mentorship works best if you can do a few things. First, this session's all about you, and what you need help with. So your participation is much appreciated. At any time during the session, just go ahead and use the raise hand feature in Zoom and get into queue to share any questions you might have tonight. It also helps us if you have your camera on. It's so much easier to have a conversation when we can see your beautiful faces. We don't always have guests in general mentorship sessions, but when we do, we strive to make them informative, educational, and tonight I'm going to add another adjective, fun. We have a very special guest tonight, Marcy Tiberio. Marcy's a New York notary and the founder of the New York Notary Alliance advocacy group, and she's also a trainer for New York notaries. Tonight, she's going to bring us a little fun process to get notaries out of the office and into their communities. And it's a fun, creative way to passively advertise your existence. But before we hand this over to Marcy, Mr. Ronnie, do you have anything you'd like to add?
I do. I only have one little thing that I'd like to point out to everybody, and I'll be posting it in the chat, and I'll also post it on the replay. Until I actually started doing YouTube, like making videos with YouTube, I want to, sorry, I'm playing a little video there. I want to post this link in the chat for everybody, and I'd love for you to bookmark it. There is a way to navigate YouTube for a channel like us, and there is a particular tab that allows you to watch all of the videos that we've created in chronological order from the date of posting backwards. Just recently, we did two really big, great episodes this last week, which was about Ron, and it was, every Notary Public should hear this about getting started with the remote online notarization. And then we did a great class on permit running with Cynthia Alexander. This class will also go onto that replay as well. So if you are looking for, if you're not able to attend live and you want to catch those replays as they post, we try to get them within 24 hours of when we actually film them. But I'm going to post that link where you can see all of those videos, and it'll take you right to the replay of those. And while you're there, if you don't mind subscribing, and when you do watch our videos, if you don't mind liking them, it does help other notaries find them. So I just posted that in the chat for everybody. And then I'm going to turn this right over to Marcy because a notary had forwarded me the email that she had sent out to them about Notary on the Street. And I looked at it and I thought, wow, this sounds like a really great idea. So Miss Marcy, I'd love for you to just take us right into Notary on the Street, what it's about, and everything. We want to know everything because we don't know that much. We only know what the flyer says.
Great. Well, thanks so much for having me. I certainly appreciate that. I love the opportunity to talk a little bit about what we decided to do. I look very red on my end of it, so I hope I don't look that red to you guys. I have a little bit of sunburn. So Notary on the Street is something that came up. It's kind of twofold. It was very interesting. On the one hand, I recently joined a bunch of Facebook groups because, like Beth very kindly said, we sort of been working with training with New York notaries. We've had a lot of law changes here. So while I own Professional Notary Services. I also founded the New York Notary Alliance, and I wanted to spread information. And what I was really seeing in the groups were, how do I get work? Where does work come from? How do I market myself? I mean, these are questions that are being asked every day, right, by multiple individuals. And I understand that if you're new, you're not really sure, but I thought to myself, there's got to be a better way than answering the same thing 10 times, in these groups. And everyone was pretty much saying the same things. And while that's great, and I think the premise to marketing is pretty similar no matter where you are and what you're doing, I thought there has to be a better way or something else we could do. On the flip side of that, if you do any sort of general notary work, people ask you to do all kinds of things that notaries don't do, right? I'll get phone calls to say, hey, can you notarize my CD so no one copyrights my music or my script? And I'm like, well, that's not what notaries do. Like, we're not involved in copyrights per se. That's not how it all works. So I thought, what a great way it would be if we come up with something to kind of integrate the two, right? Help notaries market themselves and educate the public as to what notaries really are there for. And that's how we came up with Notary on the Street. We thought, wouldn't it be fun to send a notary out on the street or to a festival, a coffee shop, outside their office building, in their business district, outside of their library, county clerk's office, with a microphone and their phone, and talk to the public. Ask them questions. Do you know what a notary does? Where would you find a notary? What do you think is an acceptable fee for a notary to come to your home at 5 o'clock on a Saturday? What would you be willing to pay? Have you used a notary before? What did you use a notary for? I thought that would be a great way for individuals who aren't comfortable talking to the public or starting up a conversation. That would give you an opportunity to actually talk to the public and do a little market research. What they're willing to pay in your area, where they find a notary, right? Is that going to help you put ads in church bulletins or on bulletin boards? Like, where would they go to find you? What would be keywords? And on the opposite end of that, you could then educate the public as to what you do, right? Well, this is a great place to find a notary, or I'm a notary and I'm available 24/7 or on the weekends or remote online. Here's my information. Sort of like a give and take. So we thought we'd send you some releases. The goal here is to send you some releases so they would allow you to record this, whether on a tripod or with your phone, with you're holding it. And then we would post these videos on social media and really try to get the public to understand what notaries do and give notaries a good in for marketing in their area. I always say that you never know who your next customer is or where they're going to come from. And you don't really, because you don't know what they do or who they know. And over the years, so many times I've received phone calls and emails from individuals who say, hey, my cousin said that they knew you. My sister-in-law and I were talking about something, and she said that, you were a notary, and I own a title company. I am a loan officer. I own a business and do these things. And so a lot of my work has been referrals, right? Word of mouth. What a great opportunity to get out there and talk to people, especially if you're not really comfortable talking to people. And I think that's the opposite end of this as well. Some people are very social. I will talk to anybody about anything. I am super social. But sometimes it's hard to start up that conversation, and not everyone is social in that regard or not sure what to say. This is good practice to get out there and talk to people. And that way you can kind of hone in your spiel and take it to title companies, businesses, the bank, wherever you find other customers. So our Notary on the Street is just that. It's kind of a twofold project. Our goal was we would ask you to sign up if you wanted to do it. There's no requirement on our end other than, you're willing to do these things. We would send you the wireless microphones, the release is already prepared, a tripod, and a little script. And really it has some basic questions on it. Like, here are things that you can ask in case you're not really sure what you want to do. And you take that and you do what you want with it for the next 2 weeks. Like I said, it's limitless. Take it to a festival, set up outside of a coffee shop with permission, right? I want you to be careful about where you're going and what you're doing, but you can pretty much do it anytime you want. You can do it with customers that you have if they were okay with it. And then we'll give you a Dropbox where you'll upload those videos for us, and we will post them on social media and tag you, tag the customer if they want to be tagged. And then our goal was for Notary Public Day to make a big montage of all of these videos talking about, your experiences, your signers' experiences, and really kind of set the tone for, hey, this is what we do, this is what we love to do, this is why we do it, and why people need us, right? Where they find us, what they need us for. And then after a week or two, after you've finished what you're doing, you send it all back to me and I ship it off to the next notary. So it's really super easy. I don't think it's all that complicated, but I thought it was a good way of getting people out there talking, right? And that's sometimes the hardest hurdle to get over. And it's not direct selling per se, right? You're just educating the public while you're out there. You're letting them know who you are. You're letting them know that someday if they need a notary, you're available, where to find you, and, you know, let your friends know, let your neighbors know, let people who know that information. And people will be, I think, pleased to kind of get that information, right? I think notaries are one of those things where if you've used a notary before, then you know what they're for. But if you've never used a notary, and how many times someone walked into your office or you've gone to them and they said, I've never used a notary before, this is my first time. And I always joke around, I'm like, this is going to be so exciting, hold on to your hat. But it is, right, for depending on what their situation is, but it's good in education for them as well. So in short, we really felt like this was a good opportunity to get notaries and consumers sort of on the same page for a minute and spread the word. I would love to have anybody who wants to join us. I will certainly drop the link in the chat. If you have any questions, I'd certainly be able to answer any that you might have, but it's really based on what you're willing to put into it and what you want to do with it. Some notaries are all gung-ho to do it in front of a landmark or someplace, you know, central to their city. Some have said, hey, I'm going to just take it with me on my signings or on my general notary assignments and ask those individuals if they want to be on there as well. And that's okay too. However you want to do it, it's just to strike up a conversation to bring a little more awareness to what notaries do and to help you too with your marketing plan.
Ms. Marcy, I have to tell you why I found interest in this. I have a very deep personal reason of why I find this to be amazing. And I hope everybody on this call and everybody on the replay will consider doing this. You know, first of all, I have to say, I know right here in Arizona, a lot of the Arizona notaries probably are going to be like, you know what, I'm going to do this when it cools down a little bit. And, you know, I see people shaking their heads right now, but mark your calendars for when you want to follow up on this, because this is why I think this is important. We live in the age of social media, and this is a great stepping stone, first of all, for notaries to kind of break out of their comfort zone and do something that they haven't done before. And it's just a kind of like a gateway into opening that door to help you get comfortable with that. And then the other thing that I think is so important is that YouTube and TikTok and you know, Instagram are dominated by notary trainers who are just selling you their business, self-included. I would love to see more notaries utilizing Instagram Reels, YouTube Reels, all of the sources where we see people selling and getting comfortable being in front of a camera or putting up a logo and talking behind it, or doing an interview to educate their customers and flooding the market with what they are doing. Because I would rather see 1,000 notaries going for the business and educating the general public about their business than another commercial for training. You know, notaries who need training are going to find their way to it. It's time that you guys kind of overflood that back with who you are and what you're doing and how to educate. Because right now, I'm pretty sure that the general public only thinks that notaries make 6 figures. Like
I would agree with that 100%.
That's all they see on social media, whether they're your customer or not, is, you know, make 6 figures, become a notary. And I think it's time that the notaries actually stand up and say, you know what, let's talk about my area. Let's talk about what you can get from me. Let's talk about my availability. Let's talk about what a notary does, all the documents you can use. I think this is absolutely brilliant. And I really hope that other notaries will actually, you know, go for this. Is there a cost for the notary in order to do this or participate in this?
Nope, you just have to send me your information. We'll ship you out everything. You're responsible for your own cell phone. And we just ask you to sign a release saying that, you know, you release the information to us, that you've got the release is signed by the individuals who are going to go ahead and be on the videos. If something were to happen, if you know, break my microphone or my tripod, you know, and I mean, things happen. I'm not super worried about it, but it just says if you don't return that to me in a timely fashion, right, I might charge you for it. I don't know how I would do that, but we threw it in there. There's no cost. It's totally free. It's just something fun to do. And I do want to say, and I should have said this before, you know, some states, some of us are working on advocacy, which I know this is not what this is about, but I'm throwing it out here anyway. We're working on petitions and changing of fees or laws. This is a great opportunity when you're talking to people to be like, hey, did you know that we only make, so in New York, we only make $2 per notarization. Do you feel like that's appropriate for what we do? Would you mind signing our petition while I'm out here, right, to talk about our increase? I mean, there are other things besides just the marketing piece I'm talking about. It's a great opportunity to talk to them about those kind of things too that are relevant that's going on in your state. There are lots of people who will get behind something like that, right? They're like, what, $2? That seems silly when you're coming out to my house and all this other kind of thing. So use this as an opportunity also to push whatever advocacy is going on in your state as well.
I love that too. And, you know, I would like to make a pledge at this point, you know, I can't make an official pledge. We'd have to talk about it behind the scenes, but with this project, you know, especially if this has a quick uptick in notaries wanting to do this, I'd love to see if, you know, we can't help with microphones or tripods that may need to be going in and out. I think that's something that notary stores would love to invest in, helping. You know, we try to help as much as we can. I think that this is a really great project that you're doing, and I'd love to see it flourish and help, you know, help in any way that I can. It's your project, but I definitely believe in it. We have some questions coming up. Are you ready for some questions?
Absolutely. Shoot.
All right. And guys, just so you know, this session is all about you. And so if you have questions about this, please raise your hand virtually so that we can get you in queue to get your questions answered. Our first question is coming from Nancy Call out of Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay, so my question, one, great idea. I already have my own tripod and all of that because we've done these. Now, are you suggesting that possibly we create like a Facebook page directed at what our notaries doing? What are we doing with the videos once we make them?
So I'm going to give you a Dropbox link and you're going to drop those right in there. And then we're going to post them on our social media and we're going to tag you from there. And then you're going to share from our social media posts so that we can extend our reach out that way. We just felt like if we sent you out there and you posted them in your social media, we wouldn't have the same reach. So if you drop them in our Dropbox and you give me all of your social media, you know, tags, handles, then when we go to post them, we're going to tag you. And if the individual who's on the video with you wants to be on there as well, we'll tag them and then you can share from there. So we're hoping to increase our reach by doing it that way.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And then the next question we have is coming from Danielle Hill out of New Jersey.
Hey, everyone. So my question is, are we allowed to team up with another notary and maybe kind of help each other? Maybe one's a little bit more outgoing than the other, or we can do it, you know, you do it for an hour and then I'll do it for an hour type of thing.
Absolutely. You can tag up however you want. You can tag up with another notary. You can tag up with, you know, we've been talking to legislators here. We thought how great it would be to get one of our local legislators on with us to have a little chit chat and have them be out there as well. It's, you know, we're rolling into election season in some places, right? So that would get them out there. However you think this is going to work for you, I'm open to any of that. Like I said, we really just want to get everyone out here. And if it needs to be, if you're in an area that's really hot or do a lot of loan signings and it's really busy for you right now, I mean, we're going to run this up through probably the end of October. So it's not something urgent. If you sign up with me and say, hey, Marcy, I don't want to do it till September when my kids are back in school and I have more time, I'm okay with that too. But you can tag up with other notaries. You can take it, like I said, take it to festivals, take it to sporting events. do it at your local county clerk's office or the library or outside your office. Or if you walk around your neighborhood with your dog, I don't know, talk to people who are outside walking their dog, right? Like I talk to everybody. So I say this in a way of like, I'm always chatty when I'm out and about. Hey, how are you? Love those shoes. How's it going? Like, I talk to everybody. So for me, it wouldn't be a big deal to stop someone and be like, hey, didn't come out a notary. And I suspect that you're probably going to get a 50-50 split. Some people are not going to be bothered and some would love to talk to you, right? So it just depends. But you can absolutely do a team. You could do 2 or 3 notaries. You could do someone like interviewing with someone holding the camera. You could run it like you're making a movie. I don't care how you do it, really. It's really up to you, as creative as you want to get.
One of the things that I think would come in very handy is the Nextdoor app as well. If you're, especially if you're savvy on that, you might be able to find people right in your neighborhood, or, you know, if you live in a large walking community, because that's what jogged me is I pretty much know everybody who has a dog in this neighborhood, because we're either avoiding each other or letting each other's dogs get together. So you kind of know people. And, you know, I just happen to live in an area where I go to the same places all the time and I see the same people, like my chiropractor strip mall. Pretty much know everybody from Massage Envy to the Joint Chiropractic and Chipotle and Jimmy John's, because we all go to the same place. So, you know, I want people to be not afraid, because you go a lot of places where you probably know people. Another place that I think would be really great is the shipping stores,
Sure.
because they have notaries on site. You could probably, and how do you feel about this, Miss Marcy, with interviewing other notaries that are maybe not mobile notaries, like stationary, like at the UPS store? What they think about their jobs and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, hold on. I'm so sorry if you hear that on my end. I think what would be great about this is absolutely talking to other notaries, mobile, stationary. I think that even you, when you were all ready, tell me a good notary story. Tell me why you got involved with being a notary. Tell me, you know, what a good opportunity was that you took advantage of. Tell me about a funny notary story or an embarrassing notary story. We all have those kind of stories, right? I think that's good information. Again, like, I think putting this out here really gives people, so I'll give you an example. I had a new notary who said to me, that her, not everyone lives like you do. Like, you might walk into someone's house and it might look like an episode of Hoarders. And she's like, what do you mean? No, I'm like, okay, this is how this works, right? We all have these funny stories of things that have happened to us, signing on, you know, outside in the rain, or cars or papers away. I think that talking to other notaries as well is a fantastic idea. And going into UPS and FedEx and talking to your like local bank notary would be great from another side, right? From somebody who has different rules than you do because they work directly for someone, what they can do, what they can't do. I'm sure they have a bunch of stories too. Absolutely.
And also, you know, you just jogged my thoughts on this. One of the greatest successes at Unlimited Ink Notary was when I started asking other escrow officers to endorse me or share their thoughts on my job or what I'm able to do with them, and then what Unlimited Ink can do. And that actually snowballed into, you know, the 350 plus clients across the country that are using our signing agency. So I can see this also for your local area, working very well with you when you say, hey, we've got this neat little project that we're doing. Do you mind if we talk about what a loan signing agent does for you as a notary loan signing agent? And then people in your local area seeing that and going, oh, I wonder if I can, you know, give them a call. Maybe they can help me as well. They may already have a notary or signing service, but they may not. They may switch jobs recently and see that video at the right time, because, you know, timing is everything. We have another question from Miss Carol up here. Miss Carol, are you ready to ask your question?
Yes, I am. I was wondering, after you get like, say, 10 people to do this, can you like put it on your website so people that maybe are not real extroverts could go on and see this is the first 10 people that did this, or 2 people or 5 people, and see how other people do it and get tips for yourself?
Yep, absolutely. We're going to start posting them the minute they come in. We're going to start sharing them right away. We want everyone to see this, right? We want to kind of build momentum. We want to give everyone ideas now, so that way we're not flooding, social media doesn't work like that. I'm not the expert here, but we don't want to flood it out there with, 50 videos in one day and no one watches them. We're going to kind of share. So we absolutely will share as you go along. And if you run into, a situation where you're like, I'm just not sure where to go or what to do, send us your location, tell me where you are. We'll help you Google and find a good place to go. I think you can even talk to your family members, right? We make jokes at my house all the time, but if you ask my family what I do, they're like, she's a notary, she does closings. And they say that because that's what they think, that's what I do. But if you ask them more about it, they don't really know, right? They just say that's what I do and we laugh about it. It's a family joke. I suspect that probably you have family members who sort of don't know exactly what it is that you do too, right? It would be interesting to ask people, what is it that a notary really does, do you think? Like, what is the job of a notary? Why does a notary do that? And you can ask your family member or friends if you're not comfortable. Start with people that you know.
Good, thank you.
I want to tell everybody this too, because people don't believe me when I say this, and I'm not going to lift my arm to prove it, but I speak in front of you guys every week and teach classes, and you see me from here up. There's a reason why, because generally I'm sweating from my arms to the floor. I get very nervous at public speaking, and there's a reason why. If you look at a lot of the Notary Stars videos, today I'm wearing a new shirt. It just happened to be a new color, but there's a reason when I do get online, I'm usually wearing black or navy blue. If you go back and look at most of the videos that I've ever done, I'm wearing black or navy blue because I don't want pit stains if I do happen to lean back or what have you. I know that speaking in front of people can be very nervous. And here's the thing, I've been doing it for 5 years and it still makes me nervous. But I love to go to karaoke. It is like my drug. I am the guy that no matter what, I cannot sing because I can't carry a tune to save my life, but I love it. And I will tell you something that I've learned, even though it makes me nervous now, I still sweat when I'm talking, but when you practice, just like karaoke, I know that they know I can't sing, and I can sing like 2 songs maybe. And, that nervousness actually turns into kind of like a fun thing. It's kind of like going on a roller coaster. You build it up in your mind before you get on it, and then you go through it. But if you ride that roller coaster 5 times, you're not screaming and yelling. You're kind of enjoying the ride, and it more tickles the tummy than turns it inside out. So, don't be afraid to try something new in your life. These are things that, unfortunately, guys, I have to say, another reason that I believe in this is the age that we're in. We're in a social media age. We're in an age where you're going to have to talk to people, even people that, and they're going to find that information when they're ready to listen to it. They might not listen to it right when you do it. They might listen to it 2 years from now. But this is, and if you go to any marketing agency and they talk about blogs or social media posts, there is a shelf life for some of them, but it can be recycled material. You can add new hashtags when you post it again. This is something that once you do it, and here's the cool thing I think about it. I mean, you're recording on your phone, right? So it's not like you're recording live on television. And if you mess up, everybody sees it. You can just delete it if you don't like it and try it again. So, don't let all the things that because I know I can feel it. I know notaries that are just, those gears are turning in there and they're just like, nope, but I just think this is such a beautiful experience. And here's the great thing. There's 86 people on this call, and however many umpteen people will watch it on YouTube over the next year. You're going to be doing this with other people. You're going to be seeing other people do it. It's going to be an initiative. I think it's a very beautiful experience. This way, it's not just a small group of people saying, hey, let's try this. That's a lot of people to kind of, you all knew what you were getting into when you showed up today. It was very clear in the 3 emails that I sent out. And when you click on the video, there'll be a great description. So if you've made it to this point in the meeting or on the replay, you have some sort of interest in it. And I want you guys to not be afraid to explore it. We got another question from Nancy Call out of Arizona.
Sorry, I have so many questions. Now with my other career, if I take a photo of you or a video of you and I'm going to post it online, I have to have a waiver signed by you, and it has to be in your file, and my broker has to have access to it. How is this different?
It's not. So we're actually going to send you a little clipboard portfolio, and in it are a bunch of releases. And you are going to ask the individual to please sign a release for us saying that's okay for us to post that information. And then they can add to it if they would like to be tagged on social media, we will tag them too. And what I think is fun about this as well is if we would love to see if you actually got one of these people to call you for a notary, right? Or you got work from it, you can reshare that, right? With, hey, this is so amazing. I just did a notary for so-and-so that I met on the street last week. That kind of content goes a long way in generating more interest, right? So we're actually going to make sure that you have those releases. You'll send those back with the videos. We want to make sure that we're not posting people without, their permission. And I will say, if you sign up and we send you the videos and the releases and you feel like when you get it, hey, this is not what I want to do, or I'm not comfortable, just send it back. I mean, I'm not going to chase you around for it. And if you get it and say, I need a little more time, I need 3 weeks or 4 weeks, that's okay too. This is really sort of a very flexible program for us. We just thought it would be a good idea to see where we went with it. And like I said, it's pretty open door. You can take it however you want to, as long as you get out there and just to chat with people.
And then Miss Beth, you got a question to go along?
Yeah, I had to raise my hand so I could get a word in edgewise. We are really rolling on this and I love it. Here's the thing that really kind of sparks my interest. I love the fact it's very passive advertising and it's a public service education at the same time. And wouldn't it be great if you guys who had your little coffee networking once a month groups could get together and meet at that coffee shop and turn it into a interview session instead? What if you could take those videos and post them in a reel on your website? So someone visiting your website is going to hear and see what the public thinks a notary does and what the notary's answer is actually going to be. All of that, I think, is just a really easy way. Now I'm looking at June on the screen and I know she's really shy. It's going to take 2 other people holding both of her arms to get out there and do that. But I also know that June is a deep thinker, and if she could get out there and do this, she could knock this out of the ballpark.
Absolutely. If you guys, she took my marketing course and I was blown away at what she was able to do with the website that she built. She watched some tutorials and I told her recently she would be teaching my marketing class before I knew it. I better watch out for her because she really nailed it down. And guys, again, don't be afraid to try something new. And honestly, I think this is the new thing that you should try. I said it at the beginning, and if you guys have just joined us, I think it's time that the notaries themselves actually start educating the public, because as I said at the very beginning of the meeting, every social media post out there is about how much money you can make as a notary. I would almost say that that's kind of damaging to us as notaries, especially for those of you that are in states that have $2 and they don't understand that we make that money off of loan signings, not the general notary work. It might be a way for you to control the narrative and actually kind of bury, because the notaries who need training are going to find the trainers, right? But it's time for you guys to kind of take control of social media as a collective. All notaries should start taking control of the conversation in their area, educating clients, educating the general public within their area, and kind of take back the internet, so to speak. Because if you don't, it's just going to continue to happen. And here's the thing, there's 86 of you on the call and maybe about 10 trainers that are dominating the internet right now. Wouldn't be really hard for you guys to push everything down and bring up the actual conversation of a notary. But that's going to take a collective experience to get together and do. And that's why I really wanted to bring this on today, because I would love nothing more than to see every single one of you having that conversation with your immediate general public. I do want to say something, Miss Marcy, if that's okay. That's not exactly the fluff of everything. I just want to remind notaries that if you did this and you were on an unlimited ink signing, I'd have no problem with it. Title would probably have no problem with it, especially if you did it. But when you're at a loan signing, there is a certain candor and conduct that is expected of you from a lot of signing agencies. If you go and they're like, have a glass of wine, this is the greatest day of my life, you are the best notary, is there anything I can do for you? I would say you have no problem asking the question. However, I wouldn't probably make my loan signing to go after it unless someone said I'd have the materials with me. And if it happened during the time that I had the materials, the microphone and all of that, then great, I would insert it then. But you would probably want to use discretion because there are some signing agency owners out there, and you sometimes don't know who you're working with, that may not consider this. And honestly, I think this would work really well on both sides, general notary work and loan signings. But I do think that on the loan signing side, you're going to have to use discretion. If you're working direct with title, then that's a really great way to ask, hey, I've got this project, if I use this discretion, they'd probably say, I have no problem with that. But if you don't know who you're working with and you don't know the clients that well, and you don't know, I wouldn't push it, not to scare anybody. There's just a right time and place for everything. And, if you show up 10 minutes late to a signing, and fumble through and all those things, and they're heated with their realtor and calling title, probably not the person that you want to ask to interview in the first place. And not that I think anybody would make that choice, but out of all the people, you want to be selective on the loan signing side. Remember that I've said it before and I'll say it again, the notary is always the first one to go under the bus in real estate.
Yeah.
So use that discretion there. Guys, I've been posting it into this.
I was just gonna say, I think it's always a really great idea to be the random man on the street, rather than even involve your signings that you're in, whether they're loan signings or general notary work. Just get your butt out there in front of City Hall, or in front of Starbucks, or in front of the public library, and go for it. Just, if you've got a tripod and a camera and a microphone and somebody else, asking the questions, and you're acting like a television show, a news reporter, they're gonna stop. They want their 15 minutes of fame. Trust me. It's not like you shoved a clipboard in front of them and said, sign my petition, although we might do that as well. But we got a camera, we got a microphone, we're wanting to give them their time on camera. They're gonna do it. Trust me.
And if you feel like that's not your thing, but you still want to participate, we can do like a quick Zoom video, or you could just do a little selfie video and send it off to me and say, hey, Marcy, I don't want to get out there, but I'd love to tell my story. That would be okay with us too. I will say, think about things that are outside of the box that might bring to people to you. So I say this time of year here, we have a lot of kids who do like lemonade stands and sell fruit or stuff. That would be, if you have kids, send them outside, right? Have them do a lemonade stand. And when people come by a glass of lemonade, ask them a question. Like, you can find ways to bring people to you too, so that you're not going out there. They're already coming into your space as well. But yeah, I think this is an opportunity for you guys to make a difference and meet some people and hopefully get some work from it. But even more importantly, like Ronnie said, I think the industry overall lately has had a lot of this, make 6 figures, it's a side hustle, it's a side gig. And I don't love that verbiage. I feel like that demeans what we do a lot of times. So this is an opportunity to tell people that's not, yes, there are people who make very good money doing this. I'm certainly not saying that many of us probably do make good money, but that's not, right? We're public servants. That is what we are first and foremost. And then the business aspect comes behind it. And the people who are making very good money are usually the ones who do the right thing by being a public servant as a business, right? And not a business who happens to be a public servant. I'm really very vocal about that. So this is a great opportunity to get out there and talk to those. I will say too, I don't want to reiterate that, who your customers are on the signing agent side normally, who would be okay with you doing this and maybe who wouldn't be. So, use that as a discretion. I certainly don't want you out there getting in trouble at all. I mean, if you worked for me, I would be fine with it as long as the consumer on your other side would be okay with it too. Talk to your realtors though, right? Maybe talk to your in-person title companies, even though they're already your customers. What a great opportunity. No one ever asked them to do things like this, probably, right? What a great way to go in there and be like, hey, we're doing this little project. I would love to talk to you about, why do you use me as a notary? What do you look for in a notary? What's important to you? That I think also will continue to build that personal connection, maybe that you already have with them, or further it along. So don't forget, they'd like to be involved in these kinds of things too. Probably no one ever asked them because they assume that they can't do it, but ask, it can't hurt.
Talk about a really great way to make a connection with a realtor, because in turn, let's just say you're interviewing a realtor and you're like, hey, I have this project and then we haven't met. I'd love to take you for a coffee and do, a little 60-second or less interview. And it's going to go out into the area educating, but that's advertisement for them too. When you state their name and a realtor, and if, they get dressed up for that little 60 seconds. And then title companies as well. If you've never been in before, instead of going in and, do you have any work for me? Maybe, do you mind if I stop by? We're going to do a 60-second interview. It's going to go out to all the people on social media in the area. And you're not asking them for work. You can leave your business card when you're there, but let's just say that you get one branch manager that says, now they know who you are, right? Now they're promoting their business while you're educating the general public on what you do. I think I can't see anything wrong with this. And, not that I'm looking, but I am very skeptical of lots of things. So, I'd love to hear from Nancy Fauché out of Florida, because I know she'll be one of the very first people to sign up to do this. And by the way, everybody, Nancy Fauché is the one who reached out to me about this and forwarded and said, what do you think about it? And now here we are.
Yeah, I remember reading it going, ooh, that sounds really scary. But you just said something about talking to title. I have a title agency that I do a lot of work for here. If I were to decide to say, do a little interview with her, like, what do you look for in a notary? Why do you use me? Blah, blah, blah. But I haven't signed up with you yet. And I decide that day, you know what? Let's do this video. Can I send it to you? I mean, but I haven't signed up with you. How does that work?
I mean, you could, but I want to make sure that they're signing a release, right? I want to make sure we have all our ducks in a row. So the sign up piece is really just for you to give me your information so that I can mail everything to you. Because I FedEx you a package with the clipboard and the releases and the microphones and the tripod. I don't really want you to have to go and with pens, right? I don't want this to be an expense to the notary. I know you're probably thinking there has to be a catch, Marcy, but there really isn't. There's nothing that I'm charging you for. There's nothing that I want you to have to worry about paying for. I want to give you everything in one packet so you can just go out and do your thing. I think that's going to be easiest for you. So if you did a video and you're like, hey, I have this great video and I'd love to use it, I'm going to say to you, okay, but I just need this release signed and then you can ship it off to me and that's okay. But I'm really a stickler for these releases. I just don't want someone to end up out there on YouTube and they're like, I didn't say it was okay for me to be on YouTube, because I wouldn't want that to happen to me, right? So we want to make sure we're clear on that.
Okay. Yeah, because as soon as you said that, I was like, ooh, I could do that with her.
Yeah. What a
She'd
great way to get their information out too, right? It's a win-win for everybody, because now they're out there and people don't know what title companies do either, right? I mean, they just don't know. I say this all the time, but the process for most people is very foreign. Even ones who've gone through and bought a house or refinanced, they're really not sure what all the pieces are. So getting that information out, I think, can only be more helpful to people.
Okay. One more question. I did log on late. In the package, is there like a list of sample questions?
There is, yep, we have sample questions, we have ideas of places where you can go. It talks a little bit about what the program and why we're doing it. So we have a list of questions that you can start with. You can veer from that anytime you want, but it does talk about general things like, what do notaries do? Where do I find a notary? Where would I find a notary? What do you think notaries should get paid? What is
Something
the
to break
importance
the
of being a
ice.
notary? Yeah, just to get it started.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Miss Marcy, as this unrolls, because I would love for you to come back, or at least, do another segment on this another time, and let's get a blog going about it. And, I'd love to include it in the newsletter. I just think this is a fabulous idea. I did look up, microphones for cell phones and all those things. Maybe you can tell me which one's the best, but I see them ranging from $9 to $36.
Mhm.
Probably depends on quality.
Sure.
But let's just say those notaries who they're like, wow, this is great. I want to do this. And there's only so many microphones and things that you can do. If there's someone that wanted to do regular with you or do a lot of them, like one of those outgoing notaries, and I know you guys are out there, would you have those releases available for download, or a place where they can enter the information and get the releases digitally and just print them and send you the Dropbox information as well?
Yep, absolutely. So the way that we've been working it is when you give me your information, I send you back an email and it has the releases and all the PDFs attached along with the Dropbox link. And then I will send you, once we're ready to go, I'll send you the FedEx number to see the shipping come out to you. So if you said, hey, I already have all of this stuff, all I really need the releases, Marcy, don't ship it to me. That's okay too. The email will have all the information that you need and I just won't ship to you. But if you'd like us to ship all that information to you, so like that you don't have to print all of that, then I'm happy to do that as well.
I will make Arizona notaries a promise. Sorry, I can't do this for every state because I'm not there. If you sign up for this program and you are nervous, I will be your guinea pig, and I will also pair you with a title company that you can walk in and go and interview and do your interview. And I will help you with the project, but I can only do it for one of you. So the first person who actually gets the package and emails me, I will accept you, and then everybody else, I'll just let you know that it's already been done. But I will help. I'll be happy to be the helpful guinea pig for anybody who does this, as long as we do it in the Central Phoenix area. Okay, and then we have a question from Miss Lisa coming up here. Miss Lisa, the queen of live scan.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Marcy, I think that this is an absolutely brilliant idea. It, like Ronnie said, it gives us the opportunity to take back our power of our prestigious jobs as public servants and not look like some sort of novelty side hustle like everybody's making it out to be. And I'm really excited to get on board. And I just want to know where do I send you my address so you can send me the packet?
Awesome. I'll drop a link in the chat for you guys that will send you to my MailChimp. So you can go ahead and put all the information out. And then I send out, 4 or 5 emails a week just to see what everybody's time frame looks like. Because some people are like, well, I'm going away on vacation, or I'm getting my kid ready for college and this isn't a good time, but I'm willing to do it, later on. Or like Ronnie said, it's hot in Arizona. Maybe you don't want to go outside right now. I'm okay with all of that too. So usually within 2 weeks of you signing up, I'll send you the information and you can either tell me, yep, I'm ready to go, or I need a little more time.
Okay, that's excellent. It's 105 out here. We've had a heat wave for the last 2 weeks and it's continuing, but I'm still ready to get out.
Yeah, well, hit like the ice cream shops, right? Or stay inside where it's cool, the library, one of those places that you could go where it's got air conditioning.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. I look forward to having you.
And then our next question is up from Helen out of Florida. I sent you the request to unmute, Miss Helen, if you want to. Let's see if I can.
1:13 right now in Arizona, guys, while we're waiting for Helen to find her voice.
Let's see. Miss Helen, are you able to find the unmute button there? Does anybody know how to unmute on the phone? Because I know how to do it on the computer, but I don't know how to do it on the phone.
Helen, is it the same question that you posted in the chat? If so, I can read it to her.
Perfect.
Okay. She wanted to know if we decide to join later, is there a website, visit, or register, or an email?
It's just the link. So if you decide, hey, I want to do it later, or I think I want to do it, but I'm not ready yet, still put your information in there for me, right? I'm not going to hold it against you. And then I'll just hold it there. I'll send you the information. And then when you're ready, you just email me back and say, I'm ready, Marcy, let's do this. Or I decided it's not for me. And there's nothing That's totally fine. This isn't going to be for everyone. I'm more than aware of that. But I think for the few of you who might really find this interesting and, like I said, are good getting out there and really want to do this, I think you're going to find some benefit to you in the marketing space. I think this is just a little bit different than what everybody else is doing. And I'm not saying that what everyone else is doing is bad or wrong. It's not. Everyone's doing a great thing, but I must get at least half a dozen emails a day saying, hey, Marcy, I'd love to come work for you. And the body of the email, I can tell you exactly what training course they took because it's all the same. And here's the thing. There are lots of good notaries out there. It's very easy to differentiate yourself when you're a good notary from what I will call a not good notary, right? It's harder when you're a good notary and there's another good notary out there. What is the difference maker for you? And sending that email, honestly, for me, lots of people tell me the same thing, right? They say they're not going to make mistakes and they're going to double check and they're going to drop documents the same day. And maybe that's true and maybe that's not. I don't know. But that's not enough to make me pick you out of a crowd of people. This, I feel like, is enough to pick you out in a crowd of people. People will remember this, right? And that's the key part about marketing. And I am not a marketer or a salesperson per se. I kind of am a person who has all these ideas, but not enough time. But I have found over the course of the years that I have done this, that people remember me for very specific things. One year I did a conference and I gave away fake rocks where you hide your key and you put them outside. And honestly, I don't know why I did it, but I thought everyone's going to hate this. And this was a waste of time. And everyone loved it to the point of where I ran out of rocks and they left me their business cards so I could send them. And I had like 350 rocks I shipped down there. It was ridiculous. So when I go back and the people meet me still, they're like, oh, you're the rock lady. Okay, I don't know how far that gets me, but they remember me. I feel like this is an opportunity to make someone remember you. So when they need a notary, they'll say, oh, you know what? I talked to so-and-so on the street one day, right? And this is an opportunity. Give them your business card, give them a branded pen, give them a magnet for their refrigerator. I don't know, do something fun and different that makes you stand out from what everyone else is doing.
One thing that I've been telling my marketing students is, and this is, free marketing advice, but I started a long time ago, even if it doesn't pan out to become a notary, I have them store me as Notary Public in their phone. I skip adding giving the business card and ask them, can you store me in your phone as Notary Public? And they will remember when they need a notary to call you because you're in there, and they will remember storing that in the phone. They don't have to go to YouTube. They don't have to go to Google and search for a notary. They have you in their phone. So that's that. I like that. I posted something in the chat too. I don't know about the rock, but Maya Angelou, who was one of the greatest minds of all times, if you ask me, and she said, I've learned that people will forget what you said, but people will never forget, and that people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you make them feel. And so, you have a good interview, you make it upbeat and nice, they're going to remember you. And, that's important. We got another question from Nancy Fauché out of Florida, and then this will be our last question for today.
Great. Quick question. Is there a minimum of videos that you'll expect out of us when we sign up?
No, you could do one video, you could do 50 videos. It really, like I said, this is so flexible. It's a very, this is really about you, right? Whatever you want to do and whatever you put into it, because truthfully, whatever you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. So if only one video is what you want to do, then that's fine. I'm okay with that. And if you want to do 50, if you want to make a dance video or do a mob or do some sort of whatever you'd want to do, I'm okay with that. I really am looking for everyone to have a little bit of fun, right? Take this where you want, make it fun, do something different, but I'm not holding you, like I said, to anything like that. There's just no expectation on my end other than I really hope it's a valuable tool for you guys to get some work, get out there and practice your public speaking skills, right? If that's not your thing, or learning, meeting new people. There's all sorts of things that you can get from this, not necessarily just business wise, right? It can help with other aspects. And I hope that that's what everyone gets from it. So I have no expectations here.
Okay, awesome. The whole public speaking thing, I did a quick wedding yesterday and choked up. There was 15 words. Goodness sakes.
It's hard sometimes, right? But this is a good opportunity. Like, I think it's an easy thing to talk to people about, sort of. And because if you're here, you're probably passionate about what it is that you do. And I know my friends will get bored every once in a while when I'm talking about notary stuff. They're like, but I'm passionate about being a notary. This is what I do. This is who I am. Once you get going, I suspect that there'll be plenty of content in your videos because that's who you are and that's what you do. It's an easy way to get out there and people will feel that passion that you have. And I think you're going to build some relationships from this.
Perfect. I've actually already got 3 places in mind.
Great.
And I wasn't going to do this. And shipping on the equipment is covered by you?
Covered by me. There's no cost to you guys
To and from,
whatsoever.
okay.
I'm gonna pay for the FedEx to you and I'm gonna give you a label to either ship back to me or to the next notary. There is nothing out of pocket for you whatsoever. There shouldn't be at all.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, everybody. Just to remind you, Miss Marcy, if you want to post that link one more time into the chat, this will be the time for you to go to the chat, retrieve that link. Also, there's been other links posted throughout tonight. If you have a moment, guys, go to the 3 dots in the little chat window. You can download the chat so that you can take it with you before we go, because I don't post that into the YouTube replay. I will post the links, but I don't post the entire chat. So if there's things there that you're looking for, please download that now. I want to remind you all that Miss Marcy did not come here to sell you anything. She is a notary business owner. She is a notary advocate. She is doing what she can to help grow this community. So this was literally, and now it seems she's not even charging for shipping the microphone and tripod to you. Please take advantage of this. Come back and watch this again, get inspired to do something new. I will tell you, I personally would love to turn on TikTok and YouTube and all these things and see notaries advertising business in their local area than I would to see all the training courses, self included, flooding the information that's out there, even to consumers who are probably a little resentful toward notaries, thinking, well, you make 6 figures. Let's push that conversation down and control the narrative and do that together. After this replay plays for a little while, I'm actually going to promote this video on YouTube, and I don't ever do that. I promote commercials, but I'm going to actually promote this actual episode. I will pay umpteenth dollars to promote it to however many notaries I can make it reach to, because I really believe in this actual, what we talked about tonight. I'd love to talk about this again. We'll find ways to incorporate this from now on. I'd love to do a check-in with you, Miss Marcy.
Absolutely.
But for tonight, because we've had such a wonderful, I think this has been a wonderful conversation, please turn on your cameras. You know, if you're going to do this one day, you got to have to be on camera at some point. And if you are not naked and you are not stuffing your face with a sandwich right now, and you're not tucking your kids in the bed, turn on those cameras for just a moment and let's give our signature wave to Miss Marcy, who is doing a lot of good right now for the notary community in New York and nationwide. And let's give her our signature wave and send her off and wave to those notaries that couldn't be here tonight, that will be watching the replay, all the future notaries. I'm losing myself off camera here. All the future notaries. And Miss Beth, how do we really say it here at Notary Stars? You got to unmute to say it.
Happens.
Trying to be a good girl and stay muted. You were just given a huge idea, a way to deliver public service and promote your own business all in one tidy little package for free, 100% free. How often do you have an opportunity to be so lucky to do that? So going forward, guys, I just want to remind you, take that same spirit, find that notary next to you, behind you, alongside of you, and take their hand, show them the way for free. Do it out of the goodness of your heart. All right, guys, have a good evening.
Thanks
night,
so much,
everybody.
everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Marcy.
Thank you, Marcy.